Welcome to the Brand Gravity Show. I'm your host, Kaye Putnam, psychology-driven brand strategist. In today's episode, I have a conversation with my friend, Kelsey Kerslake, and we talk all about how to build a business that fits your life. When I met her a couple years ago in a certification that we were both in, I was instantly blown away at how streamlined she had made her website design and brand agency to be. And she shared with me in this conversation that she only had to work an hour out of the month. We've talked about exactly how she made this her reality and what she did with all of that extra time. Kelsey Kerslake is a multi-passionate CEO of two companies, Pinegate Road and The Aligned Business. Kelsey's been helping entrepreneurs and businesses build their brands and market their online presences for over a decade. She is a business strategist, coach, and mentor for service providers, coaches, and educators looking to scale their online businesses in complete alignment with the lives they want to live and values they hold. She deeply believes that everyone has the potential to make their dreams reality, and her businesses help online business owners define their future vision and literally bring it to life through coaching, strategy, design, and websites. Let's get to the interview. Can you just share what your business is, what you're doing these days?
Yeah, so I started with a branding and web design agency called Pinegate Road. And after I grew that, I started teaching other service providers how to grow their businesses. And it turned into what is now the Aligned Business, which is a coaching program for people to learn how to grow their online service-based businesses and scale to sustainable six figures and beyond.
I love what you're doing so much. I feel like your superpower is creating a life or a business that fits the life at the same time. What's been some of your favorite results that some of your students or coaching clients have gotten so far with doing this?
It's honestly whatever their dreams, we start off with what is our visioning homework. And so that's always really cool to go back and see what students were putting as their big dreams, oh, I'd love to quit my job and be able to travel the world and have this business that supports me. And it feels really far off, right? You have these big dreams and you're like, oh my gosh, that's never going to happen. Or it's 10 years in the future. And so what's really cool, and this happens all the time, is that they write these big goals and then we work on fitting the business to sustain whatever that life is that they want. And then within 6 months or a year or 2 years, they write back and they're like, oh my gosh, I am literally living this life that I wrote in my dream homework the first day that we started together. And that happens all of the time. And so I literally have full body goosebumps right now because that is my passion in life, is seeing these crazy dreams come true that people thought weren't really possible or were going to be really hard or far off to have happen. And they are their reality once they design their life around it.
I love that so much. What do you think was stopping them from creating that visionary life before that? How are they holding themselves back from that?
I think sometimes we don't actually see the steps to these next big things. And so when we don't break that down, the big things continue to be big things that we put into the future. And we really focus on, doing our day-to-day life, just getting through the day. And so I think when we actually take time to, first of all, take that time to vision out what you even want to be doing in your future life, and then design your life and your business to actually get there, you can see the steps to get there over time, and you take them one by one, day by day, and then you all of a sudden are there. And so again, goosebumps. Yes.
And I feel like this conversation is particularly relevant for you right now because you literally just had a newborn baby a couple of months ago. Yeah. Congratulations. I'm so thrilled for
you. Thank
you. What have been some ways that you've designed your own business to make space for your life?
Yeah, really everything. Yeah. And so I was working in corporate when I got out of grad school as a stationery designer at American Greetings. And so when I was there, I knew that I wanted to get married, to have kids one day, and be able to have a business that supported that flexibility and be able to work really part-time hours, but still make a good salary and like support our family with that. And so that was my goal. Like, oh my gosh, if I make $60,000 a year and I'm able to work part-time and be able to take care of the kids, like that is my dream. And so I ended up quitting my corporate job in 2016, my business on the side, because I wanted to keep that growing. So I intentionally worked about 15 hours outside of my full-time job because I knew that I wanted my business to sustain me. And I wanted to be able to have that full-time income coming in. So in 2016, my business was making more than my salary. And I was like, it's time. And I was engaged, getting married. I also have endometriosis. So I knew that having a family was going to be a journey. And so I wanted to be able to leave my job and have time for all of that and start the family making journey. So I did. And I did spend 3 years building up to the point where my business could sustain that happening. And had I not really thought about that vision before, I never would have put in those 15 hours a week, waking up at 4 a.m. to do work before I went to my corporate job, because what's the point? Like if you don't have, you're not doing that for a purpose. And so I love figuring out what is that bigger purpose and doing the things that you need to do now to get there. And so, I mean, I far surpassed my goals of making $60,000 a year and working part-time hours. It's unbelievable what has happened since then. And so I actually, after I had my baby, I was like, my first son, I was like, what? This is when I met you. Mm-hmm. We were in a coaching program together. And I was like, I'm just exploring what's next in my life. I have this agency and it's working and profiting and everybody's doing the doing. And I'm not spending much time spending strategy hours, but not much time in my business. And I was on a journey of like, what is next? And that's really where the Align business grew from, was that exploratory phase when I had all this time on my hand and had a full-time income coming in from my agency that I built and had other people supporting on team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, amazing. I'm sure anybody who has ever had an agency or has agency experience recognizes how huge that is, because usually, well, for a lot of people, agency life can just kind of like take over your entire life.
Yeah.
But you're saying that you were working like minimal hours, so much so that you had time and space to envision something completely new.
I was literally working 1 hour a month.
Oh my gosh. Okay, just to give some weight to that. Just give us the highlights. Like, how did you make that possible? Because that's incredible.
So this is a lot of what we teach in the Align business is like how to get that all sustained. But it really came down to really honing in on the services that we wanted to provide. We weren't creating these custom things for everybody. Yeah. And so we had basically 2 services, like a full custom brand and website or a templated website. And we had such streamlined processes and procedures for doing that. And so it really just took having a project manager who manages the clients, having the designers who would do the things that they needed to do. I was still reviewing everything. So my 1 hour a month after everybody was trained and, after a while, I'm like, everything I just approved because it was so good. And that didn't happen all at once. It took about a year of getting things streamlined and getting the team in place and things like that. But once I had the team and the processes down, it just kind of ran on autopilot. And I was strategically approving things, but it didn't take much of my time. And my project manager would send me an email with everything every Thursday morning. And it got down to maybe spending 15 minutes going through it because it just was great. And amazing. We just kept going from there.
Thank you for sharing that and for giving some specificity to that, because it sounds like a dream that is not possible, but I've seen it. I've seen you do it, and it still blows me away. It's amazing. I want to shift direction like slightly around a corner. Yes. When you had that space, like you had that foundation, so you're no longer in any sort of hustle mode. How did you know what was going to be next? Like, how did you know that the Align business was going to be the thing that was the next
I
phase?
didn't know, but it came over time, and I gave myself that time to explore because I was like, I've reached all of my goals. What is the next thing? And I had been coaching some people, and I called it the Pinegate Road Academy because I'm terrible at naming and just name it whatever. And so I had been coaching people to build their businesses, and mostly designers at that point. And I realized that I was teaching the same things over and over again. And through the program that we were in, it was a lot of internal subconscious mindset type work. And through doing that basically for myself, I started journaling, and I found that I really wanted to bring this more holistic business program to life that would teach people and support them through the creation of their business foundations so it could support whatever life that they wanted. So the Align Business Academy was born at the end of 2019. We officially started January 2020. And, that's been 2.5-ish years now where we've been supporting hundreds of people to be able to do this in their lives too.
You're amazing. You're such a freaking rock star.
Oh.
So you mentioned team. You kind of alluded to systems, but what are the levers that you can pull to design a business that fits your life?
So I think you need to look, first of all, you just need to look at your offers and what it actually takes to deliver the offers. And so how much time do you need to be spending? And do you want somebody else or other people in general to be coming in to support those offers? And so I think offer design, no matter what stage you're at, is going to support the lifestyle that you want to live. So if you're doing something that's hourly, you're going to be putting in the hours, right? And so that's kind of the first leverage is let's take a look at your offers, what they entail, how you're delivering them, and how much you're pricing them at, because that's going to influence the income that you're able to make, whether you're hiring pieces and parts out to team or you're the one doing all of the doing. So we kind of need to align all of that with your offers. And that's the first thing that you want to look at.
I've had lots of people come to me that are like, oh, I want to be making 20K months, for example, but they're charging $500 per client. Do you really want to serve 40 clients?
Right.
Or can you serve 40 clients?
Yes.
With this offer? And a lot of times the answer is no. And sometimes, like you're saying, Kelsey, it's a journey to get to the place where you actually have the business that supports the end goal.
Right.
But that awareness is so key.
And so let's say you want to have this group program that is bringing in $1 million a year, but you've never coached before. You still need an offer that works for you right now. And you might be taking on one-on-one clients, and that's going to support you financially now, but it's going to set a really good foundation so you can create a next offer that is a lot more leveraged and scalable. So there's not one right answer. It really depends on who you are, what phase of business you're in, the time that you have. All of those factors go into creating that offer, but you need something that's going to work for you now, potentially into the future, but it's okay if it doesn't scale right now because you have time and you can create something else in the future.
100%. Yeah. We can't always skip to the finish line. We have to.
Right. I took on so many one-on-one clients before I started the program. And I'm like, doing that taught me what I needed to do for this more scalable program.
Yes. And so many people don't talk about that. They just talk about the end result. So thank you so much for being transparent. I think that is huge. We're going to get right back to the interview. For the next few seconds, I'm going to share with you my Brand Clarity Collective and how it can help you grow your income and impact. If you're an entrepreneur who feels stuck or uncertain about what makes your brand stand out, then this is for you. The Brand Clarity Collective is a mastermind multiplied by mentorship. It's part online curriculum, part digital mastermind, and it's designed to help you get crystal clear brand clarity so you attract more perfect clients and grow your business. We have a thriving community of entrepreneurs who are all smart and driven. As a member of the collective, you get an all-access pass to all of my best branding courses, as well as access to our private community where you can connect with like-minded entrepreneurs and get feedback and support directly from me on our coaching calls. The Brand Clarity Collective is priced at just $297 per month. And after 6 months, you keep lifetime access to all of the courses. To learn more and to see if it's right for you, head over to my homepage at kayeputnam.com. There's a big section where you can click to learn more. I'll also include the link in the show notes wherever you are listening or watching. All right, let's get back. What are some common, maybe like bottlenecks or roadblocks you see people running into?
Yeah, I would say at first, people, when they're starting their businesses, want to have a perfect offer, a perfect brand presence, a website, like all of these things that like support them in almost legitimizing themselves, when really you just need to show up and serve the people that you're meant to serve right now with an offer that works for your life. And you don't need a perfect brand. You don't need a website. You don't need a sales page or a funnel or automations or Facebook ads or all of these things that you see people doing when they're scaling. When you're just starting, all you need is an offer and then a way to communicate with people and a payment link for them to pay you. And so one of the things, you just need to take those actions. And I see a lot of people being like, oh, but when I get my website done, or when I get through the certification, or I do this thing, then I'll start selling and marketing myself. And one of the things I just say is go out there, talk to your people and sell what you have and work on that for now, because taking that action is actually going to teach you more and help you scale faster than if you just started working on your website and getting it perfect before you ever start.
Yes. So much yes. I had this conversation on a podcast where I was being interviewed. They're like, oh, when should somebody build their brand? I'm like, well, once you're selling things and like you have an idea of who your client is, then you might start thinking about building a brand, because brands build momentum. And they're like, really? Really? Like, yes, honestly. I might get in trouble, but yes, 100%. So thank you for sharing that. I think that more people need to hear that. You don't need to have the perfect business to get started. You just need to get started.
My coaching business literally started because I created a Google Doc. Actually, somebody came to me and said, I don't actually want what your agency has to offer, but can I hire you for like one-on-one coaching? And I was like, yeah, sure. Let me create kind of a plan of what this could look like. I did it on a Google Doc. And then I was like, can I invite other people to maybe join in with us and we'll learn together? And she was an acquaintance I knew, and she said, sure. And so I put it out on Instagram, and we had 4 people join my group program, and I made $16,000 just by shouting it out on Instagram. Like my first coaching, I had the experience from the agency, but that was like remarkable to me to like just be able to put it out there, send people a Google Doc with a payment link and make $16,000.
It can be simple. It can be simple.
Yeah.
So for your own work-life balance, did it have to shift when you were in this building mode for the Aligned business? And what did that look like?
Absolutely. I think at first I did design it so that I had a lot of freedom and flexibility. As you all know, 2020 happened and I lost childcare. And so during that whole first year of the Align business, I was working probably about like 5 to 7 hours a week during my son's naps. That's the only time that I had because we had no childcare. Yeah. And so I designed the program to already have support. So when I was pricing it out and different things, I had coaches as accountability coaches working within the program. So I was only showing up to the main coaching programs, and I had my framework pre-created. Nice. So that was done and delivered. So I didn't have a lot of time that I had to spend. But the next year, the next June-ish, April, May, June, around that time is when we shifted from having contracted accountability coaches to full-time success and strategy coaches that were employees.
Nice.
And so that was a huge transition. And that's when I really had to get in the doing and creating the foundation. And I was working a lot more, but it is so that we're bringing this bigger vision to life that we now have for the business and the program. And so the last year has been a lot of work. Just like building the agency was a good year of like really being in it with our team and getting things set up and making sure they were taken care of. So it does take that upfront effort, but then you get to reap the rewards of having a business that is foundationally sound for what you want to live out in the future.
Mm-hmm. 100%, especially when you're spending or investing that time in systems or structures or offers or whatever it is that is going to have longevity. So instead of just focusing on what you're posting to Instagram that day and then continuing to pour a ton of energy into that, you're building something that's an asset. So
yes.
Yeah, I love that about your business. You are an inspiration for me for sure in that area. What's your next big vision? Like, what are you working on building now?
Well, we are physically building a house.
Are you?
So outside of that was like a huge dream thing that I never thought would come to life. But, outside of the business, now we're building our dream home, and we bought land this year. And
gosh.
Yeah, that's like a really big thing. And I'm like, I can't wait to have like a big flower garden and like paint and do some of these things that are, I don't know, things I've just kind of been putting off, being in like toddler and newborn land. I don't know. I'm excited for that. So like outside of business, and then within the business, it has been a building year. So it's been a lot of work getting things set up. And now I'm just excited to support more people in building their dream lives with these foundational businesses that support them. So we're really just scaling that program, and we have excellent coaches in there. So we're really investing in their development, just management, leadership, that kind of stuff, and really optimizing our program. And that it's really like we have what we want, and we just want to grow that even more and impact even more lives through the program. I have a book in my body. And so I want to birth that all about this, but I needed my business set up to like this point so I could, again, have that time and space for book writing. So it's literally just in my brain. So not real yet, but here's me planting the seed for what future vision will happen. So yeah, it's more of the same, but on a bigger scale.
Mm-hmm. I'm working on my book. I'm in the editing process.
Yay!
Yeah, I'm like right in the messy middle at the moment.
Oh, congrats.
Thank you. It feels very much like birthing a child in many ways, because it's just...
I'm like, I have to get through physical birthing of children to like then do the book.
Yeah. How did you manage having a building year at the same time as being pregnant and newborn phase? How did that go?
It was really rough.
Yeah.
It was really rough. This was probably one of the toughest years of my life. Yeah. Just your show is called Brand Gravity. I was going to say the gravity of having employees was a lot more of a mental load than I ever thought possible. I'd hired out and I'd been supported by contractors, but the emotional part of your business sustaining other people's lives was huge. And I wanted to do it right. And I wanted them to be living amazing lives as well and living in our values. Yes. And I took that really seriously. And I also made a ton of mistakes along the way because it was my first time. And so that being pregnant, having a toddler in a pandemic was a lot. So I'm like just now coming out and I'm like, oh gosh, that was a year. Like I'm ready we have the foundation now. I'm getting goosebumps again. And I'm like, I'm just ready for this next phase because it was a lot mentally, physically, all of the things, but we're in a really great space now. And I can't wait for what's next.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Because even when we're as far into our business as we are, it can look like really polished and beautiful from the outside, but there are still some really, really hard years. And I can't even imagine having all of those things, because 2020, 2021 were really hard years for me too. And I don't have a newborn and a toddler. And they were still really hard. So I can imagine building on top of that in this climate has been really interesting.
I'm just bravo to everybody that is just like still in it. You're still here. We're breathing. We're surviving.
Heck yes.
We're here smiling and laughing on this podcast. Yes. It's all good.
Yes, we are still alive. We are still thriving. Things are still happening. And it's not always easy, which is okay.
Totally.
Yeah, it happens that way. Oh, I'm so excited for everything that is coming up in your business. How did you intentionally create the culture and communicate the values that you wanted to create with your team? Like, what did that look like?
It was not communicated at first, and I learned hard and fast that was a big issue.
Yeah.
And not having the vision for your business and guiding people in a intentional onboarding. I just threw people in and I was expecting that they would get it and they would be a part of the culture and everything would be great because, they had a good interview and they have the skills that we're looking for in this position. And nope, not the case. So it took a lot of ups and downs and navigating that. But really, it came down to a very intentional onboarding process and showing them how the big vision for our business fits into every single task that we're doing day in and day out. And I have everybody's job descriptions and their KPIs on this big document. But before we even get to what they're going to be doing every single day and the metrics that we need to hit for that position, it shares, here is our big epic goal for the business. And so every decision that you're making is supported by this. And here's what it looks like when it's being brought to life. And then we go into the values and how the values impact the different daily things that we're doing. And so they're not just doing the tasks, they're doing them in a way that aligns with our values and our bigger vision for the company and how we're impacting the world through what we're bringing to life. And so that made a big difference when I intentionally sat down and put it down there for them, because obviously people can't read your brain, and it wasn't working when I was just expecting them to get all of that. So it was very intentionally designed into every position and every task and thing that we're doing on a daily basis.
Amazing. Amazing. Can you give an example of one or two of those principles or values that your brand stands for?
So I will say, like, our big goal, and this is from the book Clockwork, but your queen bee objective is providing epic results for our students. So like everything that we're doing is like, if it supports them in getting epic results, like, good. And so one of our values under that is love and friendship. And so we say this in a way where we do tough love, but we also do very loving and hand holding. And like when people come into our business, like it's one of my things, like I love loving people and being their friend. And like, we're a very loving community. So if you're kind of used to this like harsh, like get going, like stuff, like we're probably not the place for you. Like we're very ooey gooey, lovey friendship, but also like like tough love in the sense where it's like, you got to do this stuff to get to where you want to go. And we're going to support you along the way. And we're all lifting each other up. And so we do want to make sure people are getting epic results for their businesses. So that's a big goal. But the love and friendship comes in to how we're communicating with our students and how we support them. And we have weekly check-ins with every single student. And it's always like sending you lots of love and XOXO, like Coach Luna, and just things like that. Like little details come into how we are loving on our people because of those values. And if you had a different type of value, you could still provide epic results for people, but your value and how you bring that to life would be a little different because it's your value and your business and your brand.
Yeah, I love that you have translated that like relationship that your brand has with your students down to some of those itty bitty details, because it allows all of your coaches or all of your employees to be the brand.
Yes.
And not
like it's literally in our guidelines, like use as many emojis and exclamation points in any communication that you would like, because it is on brand.
Yes. I've had clients that have literally said like, these emojis are on brand. These ones are off brand. Don't use the
I love
emoji. And that
that's really
specificity is
funny that
amazing.
you say that, because I have like literally, it's probably because I have a toddler, but I say poop all of the time. And so in our mission statement, I literally use the word poop ton, like, because that is like so on brand for us to maybe like, we're going to just have a poop ton of fun along the way. Like, that's literally in our mission statement. So yeah.
And those are the things that people remember your brand for. So like when you have those like little isms or little phrases that are uniquely you and are communicating, like they're in alignment with, with your brand and your business, then it just becomes this holistic, amazing experience that people love.
Yeah.
So kudos to you for doing all of that.
I even asked my team, I was like, is this okay to have poop in our mission statement? They were like, it is very on brand, Kelsey. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, man. Amazing. Amazing. Okay. So 2 questions. One of them, the answer is going to be go and check out the Aligned business and see everything that Kelsey has to offer. But my people generally love to learn. They love to take courses, read books, consume podcasts. What is your top recommendation on something that like really changed your life or your business that people can look into?
The E-Myth Revisited was a book I read very early on when I was still in corporate. And that really gave me the idea of, instead of turning down work, I should learn how to hire out work so that my business could keep scaling. And so I was at a point where I had too much work coming in and I didn't have enough time to do it while I was working in corporate. And so I actually hired some of my design friends to do the doing instead of turning down work or having a wait list or something like that. And so reading that book really helped me understand how hiring out can be supportive and work through some of the fears of delegating, which in turn helped me really scale my business. So if you're in those stages of solopreneurship, I think reading that book, it was life-changing for me and set the foundation for really everything that I'm doing now. So highly recommend that book.
Yeah, the book is fantastic. It helped me see a business more like a system than it being like this custom thing that you had to always have your hands in. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then if you could plant an idea or like a kernel of knowledge in everybody that is watching or listening to this, what would you want everybody to know?
I think that your dreams are possible. And instead of saying, oh, someday I'd like to do this thing, that you actually say, I'd like to do this thing. What are the steps to get there? So not just making it some dream, something that you'll get to someday, but talking about how you're going to make that happen. And I literally sat down with my husband on the porch last night, and I have some big next dreams that I want to be doing. And they've been dreams in my head for like 2 or 3 years. And now we're getting to the point where I was like, I need an actual plan of getting there and making this a reality. So one of it is retiring him so we can, this is just a weird dream thing, but I want to be able to take like 3 months where we just go live in Italy or something. And his work isn't in the way, basically, of us being able to do whatever we want. And I know that is a very privileged situation to be in. And I want to make it a reality. So I want to form the next step. So I said, what does this look like? Can we really start talking about this and saying, what financial situation do we need to be in to make this a reality so we can actually make it happen, instead of just saying, oh, it would be nice to be able to do that one day. So really being able to have those conversations and plan it out instead of keeping it for someday. It'll change your life.
Heck yes. Yeah. I want to be able to summer in Europe and like that phrase. I still am triggering myself a little bit with it. So there's some work that I need to be doing there. But
I have some like, who am I to want that when the world is the way that it is currently?
Yes.
So also some work, I think, even bringing it up with my husband and saying like, this is I actually want to be working towards this instead of keeping it as some dream. That was a big step for me yesterday. So
yeah. And I'm sure that well, at least for me, writing the book has been a similar thing too. It's like, who am I to do this? Or like, this book seems like this sexy thing, but there's actually a lot of steps that you need to take, you physically need to do to make it a reality.
Yeah.
So if you're serious about wanting that, then it's time to start the planning part. So
yes.
Thank you for sharing that. And where can people go to learn more from you?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram at Kelsey Kerslake, and our business is at The Aligned Biz. And we're actually getting our new website up. So thealignedbusiness.com is going to be official, because I'm pulling it apart from the agency, because it was always like it was something under the agency, and now it's its own thing. Yeah. So hopefully by the time this is out, that'll be real. So
amazing.
Go there.
Amazing. Love it. Thank you so much for making the time. I know that you have a fresh newborn and a toddler and all of the things. So I so appreciate you taking the time to share your genius.
Thank you so much for having me. I love you and love spending time with you. So thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, Kelsey is amazing. I hope you enjoy her as much as I do. If you haven't yet, please subscribe and review the Brand Gravity Show wherever you are watching. It helps other smart entrepreneurs like you find us. And make sure you head over to Instagram to say hello to Kelsey and let her know that you are coming from the Brand Gravity Show. One thing that Kelsey mentioned was the need to communicate her brand's mission and values down to a very specific level with all of her team members. This is one of the things that I do with my VIP clients. We create a brand source book that defines every aspect of the brand and how it is going to be expressed, both through words, visuals, and strategic decisions in the business. So if you are seeking support in articulating, getting all of that out of your brain and into your team's hands, I invite you to check out that service on my website. If you go to the Work With Me page on kputnam.com, you can read all about the Clarity Code VIP Intensive. And if you are looking to build an aligned business, be sure to check out everything that Kelsey is doing. She has an amazing free opt-in that you can grab with 25 profitable offer ideas. So I'm going to include the link to that in our show notes on my website. You can grab that there and everything else that we mentioned in this episode. I truly believe that entrepreneurs change the world with what they know. And by being here, you are learning the insights, secrets, and behind the scenes of visionary brands that are doing that, living that for themselves. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I will see you on the next one.